Raging Potato with him as well there, and we are ready for the draft. In fact, the draft has already begun, so we're going to drop you into it right away, and that gives a little edge to our prediction competition as well, because that means you get to see the draft before.
Nature's Prophet Beastmaster Rubik.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Which is fairly standard so far. We haven't seen any crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, not too weird. Nature's Prophet allows for a lot of good map progression. Beastmaster kills people.
I mean, we got the answer for the Husker. They ban A.
They ban A, and it's very obvious you want to pick the Husker. Slaughter ban also very obvious against the Lions. The Lions always pick Slaughter.
I think it's the key hero because for Alliance, when Loader is on a tempo control, they are much more fluid in their team play.
Right.
Hey,
They need good nukes now on Alliance.
Yeah.
All the counters to DP. It's like Slaughter, A.
That's a strong 3 pick from Mineski.
Push right.
It is.
Right in your face.
Yeah. Exactly how they would want to play.
Would you consider that a cheese, Black?
No.
Straightforward draft?
I think Black
straightforward push that.
Black basically considers anything as cheese nowadays.
Except if you pick Anti-Mage.
Right, of course. That
Anti-Mage
wouldn't
is
be cheese at all,
straightforward,
would it?
Loader.
If Mineski picks Witch Doctor Lycan, then yes, I'm gonna say cheese. If they can get both of those.
It would be really strong late game too, though.
I mean, it's looking really good right now.
They might still go for like a safe lane Prophet and like a Void or something like that.
Yeah,
it could still
very
work
possible.
for them. Yeah.
Really good against the quad, if they plan to do that.
And Alliance is just going for like standard picks as well, like good lanes.
It's a good way to defend Death Prophet basically. If she gets roared, you just snowball into a creep or something, pull her in for 3 seconds, and then her exorcism is still going. Same with Spirit Type and all that stuff.
They used to offlane Tusk a lot, but I don't think
Not
that's
anymore.
really a thing anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
The Tusk is like the similar role of the Earth Spirit.
Right.
But Mineski doesn't play Earth Spirit very well, so they use Tusk as a similar role.
But they're against a queen. Like that, it's not going to be good offensively at all.
You can't gang middle. That's for sure.
But your point for defending the Death Prophet against the Raw, which I think is quite important in the team fight where you have to keep the DP alive, so she can actually still do damage.
Oracle might have been better than.
Sorry?
Oracle might have been better than, right?
Yeah, but you can actually be much more active at roaming.
Naga Siren.
Naga Siren.
Naga Siren.
They needed the counter push here for sure.
Please pick it.
It's pretty good. Mana Leak on a couple of heroes can be really strong too.
They could also go back to the PL. Would be pretty good right now.
Yeah, both picks are very good because you split push, you stop the enemy team from actually 5-manning and trying to siege your base. So those are 2 heroes that are very good versus what Mineski have. So Mineski probably needs catch.
Yeah.
Their last pick has to be a catch hero.
Well, Alliance, they got Anti-Mage, they got Naga, they got PL. I think that's the premier choices right now that they usually run.
Would you think like AM is the best because of the Mana Void on the DP?
Mana Void on DP is really good. But they ran AM in the group stage and it wasn't like that successful.
It was pretty good. It was against Liquid the first game.
Right.
It was pretty close.
I mean, I guess they barely lost, so they could definitely go back to it. They have all the setup for it. They have the Roar, they have the Coddle to anti-push, they have Quap for burst damage. I think it would be a really good AM game.
It's only the second Coddle we've had, by the way.
So
second?
Yeah, first game is by OG, if I'm not mistaken. OG picked up first.
Against Empire, and they won.
if they pick AM, aren't they a little one-dimensional? Just delay the game until AM wins. Wouldn't?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess he was
basically
good against TP.
they are gonna have the vision game. They have Beastmaster. They have good
true.
D push with Keeper of the Light. Queen of Pain is gonna provide like kills, like ganks, and you can also team fight with your Sonic Wave. So they have very all-rounded draft. It fits the AM. If you want to put an AM in this type of draft, it can definitely work for them.
Yeah.
So the Banner Gyro instead, very good early fighting, and also very good in lanes. So it'd make it a little bit harder for Mineski to pressure and TP and stuff.
And the Lions, very old back then in tier 3, they actually aggressive trying out a lot with Coddle, Rubik and Gyro. They would just push out the lane and then pull the creeps. And obviously it's still very strong and I actually really like this ban.
You think it's good for them to go aggro try this game?
Well, not anymore, they don't have a Gyro.
Even then, it's not that great. Bench Tusk is pretty scary.
It's probably not the best, it's just something to keep in your head.
Yeah, it depends on who's the safe lane hero. If Prophet's the safe lane or someone else is the safe lane. And it depends also how greedy Mineski is going with the last pick. And for Alliance, it's all about getting that carry that can actually scale very well, split push very well. You want to disrupt the tempo that Mineski wants to bring, which is the 5-man.
What about like CK or something?
Is it not worth Mineski just going all out now? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Alliance are going to find it pretty obvious what they're going to try and
Yeah,
do.
but
Right?
Mineski has the last pick, so they
Yeah.
can always decide after they look at all the 5 heroes of Alliance.
They can respond properly.
They can choose whether to go for the all-in Paul or whether they should go for a much more standard
What would you
game.
do if you're Mineski?
Bristleback.
Bristleback, huh.
Okay, that'll throw him a little bit of a curve.
So it'll be like a chakra magic into a double quill spray.
Yeah, it's very
Oh
good,
yeah,
very
that's
good.
that's actually really good.
Yeah.
They could dual offlane with that and do like safe Beastmaster versus.
You probably
whatever.
don't want to be too greedy against the Bristol.
Yeah.
But they still need lockdown for sure, like something like a void. They need a lockdown so that DP can actually kill heroes or
Yeah.
to control tempo.
I would like a carry ward here. Carry ward is really good against Bristleback
Oh,
because both his spells
time
can
dilation,
spam.
yeah?
They're both like both his abilities are spammable. Once you get time dilation, you're essentially worthless until that time dilation is over.
It would force him to get a BKB, which he never wants to buy.
Yeah,
You can't. Can you purge it off with Diffusal Blade or something like
yeah,
that?
you can.
You can, yeah.
Maybe a solution there. Like, go for
Right,
Jug.
go for a jump.
So,
Okay.
All in push.
well, they do scale very well into the late game, so a very all-rounded draft.
Right.
All right, very quickly. We have to go down here very quickly in a couple of seconds. Black, which way do you go? Winter, which way do you go?
Alliance.
Mineski for sure. Like, I'm going for Mineski here. I like their all-rounded draft.
Okay, one for Alliance, one for Mineski.
I'm gonna stick with Alliance.
Okay, two for Alliance, one for Mineski. The hometown heroes have it all to do. Let's find out whether they can do it as we join our commentary team.
Hello, Manila! I'm LD. I'm joined here by gods. It's Mineski versus Alliance. Best of one, do or die, gods. The panel slightly favoring Alliance, but it was a split decision. Winter repping for SEA.
You can always trust Winter to rep the homies.
Are
know?
you repping or are you betraying?
Of course, you're in the Philippines. Mineski, if there's ever a time to step up, it's here at the Manila Major.
All right, we're gonna go for a 3-2 Mineski sweep. Almost, Jan. Let's go. Mineski versus Alliance. It will be a close one though, gods, as we get underway.
Nope, wrong team.
This is complexity, such an exciting match. We're gonna play it all over again, but we've got some stand-ins here, gods. It's Mineski versus Alliance. bo1 getting underway now. So we both are in the Mineski quarter as far as the draft goes. Very slightly though. This is gonna be a close one and something different from Alliance going for the Bristleback.
Yeah, Mineski are the ones who set the tempo here. They've got the aggressive early game. They can push towers very quickly using the Nature's Prophet rotations, the early exorcism on Death Prophet. So it's Alliance, as you'd kind of expect, going to be playing kind of a bit more slower pace, but they have picked up some good deep push with the Keeper of the Light, the team fight around the Sonic Wave, Bristleback a great early fighting hero, and I think they're very wary of what Mineski bring to the table with aggression.
Yeah, you heard Black and Winter talking at length about some of those more iconic Alliance heroes. Like they used to run the Coddle PL, the Naga's been their more recent go-to hero when they want to play a bit greedier, but like you said, I think this is very much adapting to what Mineski bring to the table. They were very targeted in their bans. They brand out the Huskar, the Drow, first banning the Alk, so they just didn't want to get cheesed. And in a BO1, we've seen that is sometimes how you go out. So.
Yeah, they really covered their bases with pretty much all of their bans there, so early game laning stage, it looks like, yeah, Loader in the off lane for Alliance, perhaps the biggest surprise here, giving Bulldog the safe lane on Beastmaster. And I think recognizing that Bulldog hitting level 6 early on, getting the Roar online, he's going to be a potential tempo controller. Bristleback needs quite a bit of farm, gets his Vanguard up, then he can roam around. But even then, he's not a guaranteed initiation, so they want to give Bulldog the easier lane.
Yeah, Bulldog getting the 1v1, and it's against a Nature's Prophet, a hero that can dominate certainly melee heroes, but when you have the Boar, pretty good base armor, you should be fine in the matchup. So Bulldog gonna get harassed here early, but will be getting those quick levels. In the mid lane, S4 on the Queen of Pain against the Raging Potato on the Death Prophet, already going to work there with the Spirit Siphon. So early days, but fairly even trades thus far, and then the lane where most of the action is likely to come as Avenge Stun gets forced out, Cast having to play this one very defensively for now. Mineski running the full-on tri-lane. You can see that Rubik actually hiding back for Alliance. So Alliance 2 running a full tri-lane. Tri-lane versus tri-lane. Feels like TI3.
Alliance, I think, pretty much the only team who are successfully running tri-lanes at this tournament. A lot of their, like, and that's something which they've gone to when they found like a good laning matchup. The Rubik pick also very good in the aggro tri-lane. It's a good setup for the Keeper of the Light Blast. And even with Juggernaut having the Blade Fury to block the damage, there's still the Quill Spray's physical damage to go through the magic immunity. So I think Alliance have a bit of an edge in this aggro tri-lane. They've got that side pull open to them as well, so Mineski are really going to have to pick their moments when they try and fight.
You know, we used to see these offensive tri-lanes with Keeper of the Light from time to time, and that was before the advent of this new pole camp, where we can say Jules duking it out right now with the Alliance squad. Do you feel that new pole camp favors either side in the matchup?
It definitely helps the team going for the aggro tri-lane, because it means if for whatever reason Mineski deward their pull camp and start pulling the way back, you can counter pull. So it's kind of, both teams have the pull camp access to pull the lane back, and I think as a result, it means what we're seeing out of Alliance, more teams may start picking up on as well.
And the other big thing against Keeper of the Light in tri-lanes is seeing him charging the blast. They do have a lane ward here, but they don't really have much vision into the jungle for Mineski, so seems like Alliance thus far getting a bit of the upper hand, really chewing through the Juggernaut's regen, getting their supports quite a few levels for an aggressive tri-lane, and then, more importantly perhaps, the two 1v1 matchups where we can see Bulldog right there with the Nature's Prophet, and most importantly, S4 pulling ahead a bit here in the mid lane.
Yeah, he's managed to outplay Raging Potato so far in the mid lane. Raging Potato will go for a second Null Talisman to perhaps help him out and also build into the common Veil build we're seeing, but I think the important thing to note with this tri-lane versus tri-lane is that Mineski have a Nature's Prophet, so the potential for rotations are there if Bot can get a fast phase boots up. Even if he doesn't have mana for Treants, if he just has TP in with phase boots, Nature's Prophet hits very hard early on, and that's something Alliance are going to have to be very wary of.
This could be a wraparound here. EGM sneaking in, has the Invis rune, and they're going to start this off with the Shadow Strike. There are two charges up on the Spirit Siphon though, so they're going to need to burst him. If he gets one off, they might have to disengage, but they get the lift. Then the drop comes through, and he's a bit late there on the fairy fire. He is Spirit Siphoning though, gets EGM. He ends up getting the first blood. Jules to the rescue. Potato turning it. It looks like it's going to be a 2-0. Mineski salvaging that and coming out way on top.
Whoa, it looked like for a second he'd made a mistake not using the Spirit Siphon earlier, but boy, does he barely survive. 2 Null Talismans, the extra survivability that he got from that. And then the Jules rotation on Tusk, that last second snowball. Oh my gosh, clutch plays coming out from the Mineski.
Saves him from like that one auto attack, just lets him reset the fight and ends up living through the whole engagement. And perhaps equally importantly, now Juggernaut really not being contested as much after the Rubik leaves the lane. So he's right up there as far as CS goes. Mineski pretty much dead even on CS, but now with the first blood to call their own. And we'll see this 4-minute rune spawning. It's going to be the Raging Potato, man of many names. We'll grab the bounty rune. Double damage rune, lurking top. So looking at the way the game is developing here, guys. Key heroes right now for Alliance, clearly the Queen of Pain, the Beastmaster, especially for Bulldog. Where's their next move?
I think it's, for both teams, it's the two top laners. It's the Bocarino, Nature's Prophet, it's the Bulldog Beastmaster. The fast level 6 on Beastmaster. The Nature's Prophet, it's less about a specific level, but it's the early rotations and dives you can do. Tusk is a great initiator to go with Venge, so these two supports can roam mid, can roam bottom, and have that +1 rotation, which can transition very nicely into a tower, as well as secure you like a guaranteed tower dive. Often the problem with diving towers early on as like a tri-lane is the counter rotations. If Bulldog TP's in, if he gets a raw, then you're in trouble, but having a Nature's Prophet means you can be that little bit more aggressive and not get punished.
Do you see Alliance needing to make any adjustments here after the failed rotation mid? It seems like they have somewhat abandoned the tri-lane now, roaming the supports a bit towards the mid lane. Looks like they maybe have been stacking the Ancients for the Bristleback as well.
Alliance are always happy to kind of farm and play a kind of slow-paced game. They're somewhat more reactionary to what their opponents are doing. If there's no kills in the first 10-15 minutes, normally that's the kind of pace that they're totally okay with.
But do you think that's okay this game, given the two drafts?
It's more important about keeping your towers alive than finding kills, so they need to react to Mineski if they're grouping up to go for pushes, because towers will drop very fast to Exorcism and the Nature's Prophet. You've got the sustain from Healing Ward as well in the Juggernaut.
Mineski converging on the bottom lane here, perhaps 3 heroes. They smoke around. Jules, the man in front, is waiting for the opening. Doesn't really want to go in Loda though. He's looking for that Keeper of the Light, but Alliance playing very cautiously. They have the lane ward. The pings are coming out. NP into the tree line, and well, they're going to find the Bristleback here first. Way down to the south is Gandalf, but they've managed to cage the Armadillo, and they roll on with the spin. They grab another kill in a core. Meanwhile, mid lane as well. The action continues in earnest. Raging Potato, no supports to help him out, but the Spirit Siphon, enough for now, eventually does go down. So it's a 1-for-1, a Bristleback for a Death Prophet, but Bulldog just chilling top lane, working towards that Necro Book, and does shove it in.
Yeah, that rotation there, a lot better for Alliance than Mineski. Ultimately, they had to commit 4 heroes bottom. They lose their Death Prophet mid, who's their, in some ways, tempo controller as far as being able to take down towers. So Death Prophet on the sidelines means no transition into taking objectives. And Bulldog getting a lot of alone time. His Necrobook timing going to be very, very good this game.
Oh, they won Bacareno. He's up pretty far here. And the flank has been prepared. They've got a Queen of Pain, Sonic Wave ready to go, and they're just going to unwind on him. NP down. No problem to get that kill. Tusk will show up a bit late. Is going to try for a shards. Not enough to grab the kill there, as S4 will blink away to safety. Up to 1,300 gold now. So the past few rotations definitely favoring Alliance, and could see them going towards their patented efficient support play in the mid game here as Keeper of the Light stacking up the jungle a bit over on the south side of the map, and I imagine we're going to see those Ancients getting stacked fairly soon for the Bristleback.
Yeah, you always know that a death or two on Bristleback not going to matter when you can catch up using those stacks. So Loda's slow start, not something too problematic, but what's problematic is when you use that Sonic Wave, this is a long cooldown that typically you don't really think of like as important as a Ravage, but in this Alliance draft, it's most of their burst damage early on when you've got low-level support. So with no Sonic Wave, Mineski feel very safe to take an early tier 1.
Yeah, until that Necro Book comes out with the Mana Burn, as the last hit mid lane will go to Raging Potato. You probably don't have the burst at this stage. So Mineski, they get on the board first here as far as those ever so important towers go. We close in on the 8-minute rune.
And for Mineski, it's all about picking up all those teamfight utility items. Get the Drum Mech on the Nature's Prophet, get the Veil on the Death Prophet, get these utility items going. They may even go for a mech on the Tusk because of how farmed and how good of a start Jules has had, but you can get those early teamfight items. This Bristleback will not be anywhere near as effective as you'd like him to be.
Map this game out a bit for me, God. So moving forward the next 5 to 10 minutes, what are the key overall like long-term objectives for these teams?
For Mineski, it's systematically taking down towers one by one. Whenever you've got Exorcism up, group up as 4, have your 5th hero farming, be that someone like the Juggernaut or the Nature's Prophet, and then they rotate when it looks like a fight's about to happen. You don't want to commit all 5 heroes to the push, because that's when Alliance will just out-farm you. You need to make sure there's some kind of plan B, which can be the Juggernaut. Ben-Hur, you see him farming at bottom lane, while the rest of his team grouped up top, looking to push and pressure another tier 1 tower.
Yeah, he feels very safe right now. It's going to take a Roar into a Scream Sonic Wave or a big Coddle Blast to bring him down, and that's not materializing for now. But top lane, the push is, even without the Exorcism, they're actually cutting the wave here with the Death Prophet while they siege with Treants. Mineski looking for their second tower of the game, while in the mid lane, the counter push comes from Alliance. 2-3 heroes grouping up there.
And as far as mapping it out, I mean, I talked a lot about what Mineski doing, and the reason I didn't talk too much about Alliance is because they are going to be the ones who have to react to Mineski. They see a push top, they poke at mid. They're not even realistically, they're not going to get this tier 1 tower. They get a bit of damage off on it, but there's no real big aggressive play Alliance can make outside of smoking around their ultimates. So now that Roar and Sonic Wave are back up, they can try and take a fight, but they've got to be the ones getting the initiation off. They've got to be jumping someone like the Death Prophet, bursting her down with Sonic Wave, or bursting down someone like the Juggernaut with the Sonic Wave.
And I imagine the key to that is the Beastmaster here. Bulldog, yeah. He's been very quiet thus far, but as I say that, you can
Jules
see Alliance
scout this one.
creeping in. They smoke breaks. Jules in good position here. He jukes back through the trees. Alliance, they don't have him. The Tusk sniffs it out and backs away, and that's the debut of the Necro 1. So now if Alliance want to push, it's a straight-on siege.
And I love that Ben here doesn't even think twice. He just immediately TPs to the mid lane, recognizing that, okay, a smoke down bottom means he is not safe there. Even if Venge is behind him, it's a level 5 Venge, no swap available, and you can't reliably Blade Fury TP away from a Roar. So he immediately groups up with his teammate, ready to get aggressive.
Oh, they are getting aggressive. A caravan of 4 heroes swinging around towards the south side of the map. The man in front, who will be scouted here, is S4, but they don't have that instant initiation out in front, so he can just walk away. Looks like the siege will be repelled, but the tower has been brought low, the glyph forced out, and it will end up being denied. Alliance, their first tower, not getting that additional bonus gold that they're looking for. Mineski, Exorcism ready, are just heading straight down this lane, looking for their 3rd tier 1 tower. Seems like Alliance so far, Gods, they're losing the pushing game despite having the Keeper of the Light.
And as long as Mineski are grouped up as 5, Alliance can't easily fight into them. You Roar someone, there's potential for a snowball pickup to save them. So you can't reliably get that burst at the start of a fight, and that means that engaging the Mineski very difficult.
They're going to snowball. Speaking of which, onto Ake, takes the Walrus Punch, then the spin. and Ake goes down. Then they manage to block Loda back. Raging Potato wants a piece of that action. But while that's happening, Queen of Pain is pushing in mid together with Bulldog. So Alliance split pushing for all they're worth, not wanting to take the head-on engagements. Mineski, they keep the pressure up though. Exorcism ready. They may pop in here momentarily. In Alliance, they just don't have the deep push. They're gonna roll deep for this. Shards off the mark. Oh, they might be in a bit too far. Jules getting lifted, dragged back towards the tower, but Raging Potato there to zone them out. This prompts a TP from the respawning Keeper of the Light. But all the while, Alliance working on a tier 2 in the mid lane, so it might be an even trade here as far as the towers go.
They're ready to back off though. They took 2 towers, so they can defend their tier 2 at least.
Spinning forward, we're trying to kill off that Necro Book. We'll get that bit of bonus gold from Bulldog.
I mean, great trades for Mineski. They get 2 towers. The only play Alliance can make there is to try and split push using their Beastmaster Necrobook, which is still just level 1. And Alliance's lack of teamfight really starting to show here. Big problem is the supports are still very under-leveled. Only just now, Rubik's hit level 6. Keeper of the Light has the level 3 Illuminate, but Mineski just can kind of brute force their way through. And this is before they even have a mech pickup. This only gets harder and harder to defend as the kind of core items come up on some of these utility heroes. The Death Prophet's got a Veil. Tusk is going to have an urn, so if they start getting kills, then you've got the sustain for your push, where you can, if someone tries to get bursted, they survive, you heal them back up as well. So very difficult to slow down Mineski right now.
And perhaps equally importantly, you mentioned how hard it is to go on a hero when there's a snowball save. There's now a swap available as well, so Mineski can be even more confident in their sieges. Loda, meanwhile, he's been quiet on the Bristleback, pushing in that bottom lane. And so I guess looking at the way the game's developed, Alliance clearly on the back foot here. They don't have a ticking time bomb type hero gods. The panel talked a lot about Anti-Mage, I think especially the Naga Siren, maybe even like a Phantom Lancer. We didn't see one of those heroes drafted, so how do they turn it around? How do they get control of this game back, and what's their timing window?
They ideally want to keep disrupting Mineski's momentum. They're looking to take towers while grouped up. If you can slow down that process by finding pickoffs, it means, like, okay, Jug or Death Prophet's dead, Mineski's not going to be able to push. So ideal scenario is you figure out who's going to be alone. If it's Nature's Prophet somewhere, like solo pushing a lane, go and gank the Nature's Prophet. If it's Jug, try and smoke gank him as they tried earlier on at bottom lane. It didn't work, but you've got to keep looking for that play.
Oh, Mineski, they saw that Ancient stack being cleared out. I believe heroes running back and forth, and now they creep into the pit, maybe thinking even the Roche was being attempted. Are they going to sneak it?
They just want to...
Do Mineski have the cojones for this? You bet they do. Into the pit they go. Wave of Terror, very carefully thrown to the south so as not to be easily scouted by Alliance. Bottom lane is pushing and no one's defending. Alliance might have an idea of what's up, but they've yet to move into the pit. They really need to start channeling up that first Illuminate.
He's got no TP as well. I suppose just not going to be here in time.
They don't have a blink on the Beastmaster. They just got to waddle into the pit, and it's far too late. Mineski have snagged the Aegis right out from under the watchful eyes of Alliance.
Yep.
Not vigilant there when they needed to be, and certainly another win for Mineski, who we mentioned all the sustain they have for a push. Give them a second life.
I think the big thing Mineski have to be wary of as they go for a push is they're still very low level. You haven't got level 2 Omni Slasher. You haven't got level 2 Exorcism. These two ultis receive big upgrades when you get to level 11. So I'm fine with them going for these tier 2 towers, but they need to not jump ahead of themselves and say, okay, we've got Aegis, let's go high ground right now, because they could get punished there if they're not careful with the AoE of Queen of Pain and the Keeper of the Light Illuminate. There's still plenty of counter push for Alliance. Alliance will not give up easily here, despite the Aegis push coming their way.
Well, Mineski so far, they've been very disciplined, very prepared for Alliance's movements, and they continue to slowly work on outer objectives, not diving too deep for kills. They get the mech, they chip at the tower. It's Alliance on defense. Mineski continuing the onslaught, but then her will drop low. He gets forced back. The healing ward there to regen him up, and again Alliance split pushing. Yeah. Queen of Pain and Beastmaster, 2 peas in a pod, constantly grouped up together. Tower will be denied mid. As the Radiant Glyph comes through, they are teleporting in reinforcements to the top lane. Jules the first man in, he gets the snowball off his Bulldog, attempted for the roar. They're gonna roll for this, actually not. He'll be fine. But now they chase forward onto S4, blinks out. Can they catch him? Sprout getting fogged here, it is nighttime. Turns, he's got the Arcane Rune. Not sure he'll be able to kill him in time, and he does blink away again.
Oh, but he blinked into...
Raging Potato. Do they get the silence here? Does he have it yet? No, S4. One more blink. And this last one enough. He TP's out, but Alliance creating some space, slowing Mineski down. They did get the tower deny mid. Yeah, they're not crumbling under the pressure.
Oh no, Alliance are playing fantastic from behind, under the pressure. They're not trying to force the fights. I mean, this is classic Alliance. It's, okay, we're behind, our way back in the game. It's kind of a bit of split push. This is just what they kind of became known for during the TI3 era. They get whatever they can elsewhere on the map, avoid the team fights, but problem is Mineski, they get back to that top lane to defend, they're instantly transitioning into a push. So they're already on the offensive once again with the Aegis, and likely this last outer tower is going to be dropping 16.5 minutes in the game. At some point, the high ground push will come.
This game of keep away continues for Alliance, but Mineski are going to call for a game of chicken. Come home, Alliance. Your base is in trouble. Home is under siege. And meanwhile, mid, Alliance also sieging. They're going high ground too. Who's going to push faster here? We'll have to see. They work on it, but Bulldog does get caught by a snowball. There's the Walrus punch as well. The tower's down, and Juggernaut spinning his way onto Bulldog. They're trying to bring down the base faster. Goes for the TP out. Ain't gonna happen. Ben-Hur able to finish him off with the assistance of Jules, so they give up a kill, Alliance do, but they do force Mineski back, and they get the tier 3 first.
This is such classic Alliance. They're actually delaying the push. The Aegis will be expiring very soon. We're not going to be able to see a successful high ground
It's
out of this one, and
I think it's something important you mentioned, Gods. No level 2 Omni Slash, but more importantly in this case, no level 2 Exorcism. They just don't push as hard as they need to in that situation.
And one of the weaknesses of the Mineski draft we're seeing is the lack of catch. When we kind of got to that last 5th pick from Mineski, something some of the panel talked about is like, okay, we need to see a catch here or something that can get pickoffs. You've got kind of a swap, but generally you're looking at Venge Swap as a more defensive save tool. Tusk Snowball, not really a reliable instant initiation. You don't have that Chronosphere, that Batrider Blink Lasso. You don't have that Centaur Blink Stun, the Slider Blink Crash. There's no instant initiation to punish Alliance's split push, and Alliance are just taking advantage of Mineski's limited ability to pick off heroes. Nature's Prophet can eventually get a Hex, but that doesn't come until much later on.
Mineski swinging back towards the mid lane. We have seen some additional item pickups here. The Queen of Pain Orchid completed at the same time that Raging Potato grabs his Yule Scepter, so a retort there perhaps. Just classic items for these heroes. The Necro 3 online now. And Alliance creeping forward, but Mineski appear to be wise to this. They do have the ward. They see it coming.
They want to fight while Exorcism on cooldown, but at the same time, initiating on Death Prophet who has an Aegis, not ideal.
Oh, they are going to head up the hill. They find Jules first. That's a little bit sweeter, but Bimbo's gotten off a really nice nuke there from the Bale, and now they move on to Bulldog. The Exorcism coming. He's got a double Spirit Siphon. They cannot fight him head on. They're trying to kill up the backliners, but they've already lost 2. Big 4s hitting the deck, and Loda coming next. EGM choked down. That's going to be 3. Mineski pushing for 4. Loda might be next. Just need one more auto attack. He turns his back. He heads for the hills. The wave of terror's there. They get him in the Sprout. They need that bench stun to complete it. The Quill stack up, but it's not enough. It's 4 down. Necro will finish off one lingering Mineski hero while Bimbo chases forward. That's 1 angry Potato. He does the Yules. Doesn't need it. It's a wipe. Mineski cleaning up there. It did cost them a buyback, but well worth it.
Oh boy, Mineski taking out the entire Alliance squad. That was off the back of the Aegis kind of expiring as well. You can see the intent from Mineski's draft. Raging Potato following the teamfight victory, picks up a Hood of Defiance. They are going all out. They want the pipe, the mech, the drums, every tool to throw at Alliance for the teamfight push that's going to come. And if they can put themselves in a position where they're grouped up as 5, there's no split push to worry about. They're going to have everything they need to break the high ground.
That was not the ideal way to start the team fight. They killed a Tusk, but he just buys back immediately, rejoins the fight. Death Prophet gets off a full Exorcism with double Spirit Siphon. They don't even try to kill her. You mentioned she had Aegis. They didn't even try to, kill her once the Exorcism goes down. She just has free reign in the team fight. It felt like Alliance just didn't get the right hero first.
They even stole the Omni Slash on EGM. He stole the Omni Slash, turned it around. It was split between all the treants and everything. So EGM, even with the big plays he makes.
There's a Yules here down at the bottom rune. It looks like we might have some action breaking out. Snowball forward onto S4. He blinks back. Oh, Jules. Lucky he didn't end up on the wrong side of that hill, but they're still hunting him. They roar. They commit, and that will end up being a dieback. So Jules, a bridge too far for him. He does go down. He'll be on the sidelines for 40 seconds.
Not too big a deal. As long as you're not dying around Aegis respawns or Alliance kind of split push timings, you're looking okay. And that's just 30 seconds where the rest of the Mineski team need to not get caught out, continue farming their next couple of pickups, like the pipe that I mentioned on the Death Prophet. Ben-Hur farming away at top looking for a Manta style, so he'll have a way to get out of the Queen of Pain Orchid, and picking Ben-Hur off is just not going to be an option at that point.
Looks like we'll be settling down here. That next Roshan still a little bit of a ways off. And I guess the question is, Gods, how fiercely do you see this being contested? Who's going to have the edge around the pit?
It's still going to be Mineski, despite Alliance having Beastmaster Vision and a pretty good AoE teamfight with the Keeper of the Light and the Queen of Pain. If you get Death Prophet in there, if you're willing to commit the Exorcism, Mineski pretty much secure themselves Roshan. They've got Healing Ward, which can be placed on the cliffs. They've got Juggernaut, who can Blade Fury to block a lot of the magic damage. And Exorcism with the mech and pipe to back it up is just going to mean you've got this kind of unkillable Death Prophet who has 2 defensive supports to save. Snowball and Swap means killing these frontline cores is very, very difficult.
Well, it seems Alliance, they want to try and play the Mineski game here as they get a mech up on Ake. We did earlier see Loda building his own Hood of Defiance, so perhaps a pipe will be next on the list for the Bristleback, and they're basically going to fight fire with fire, but S4, top side of the map, Omni Slash is there, Mineski assassinate the Queen of Pain. A nice silence to start that one off, just doesn't have an escape plan at that point.
Interesting, S4, it looks like Raging Potato, Bimbo's decided not to upgrade the hood. He had the Hedreds, which he sold, and he's transitioned into a point booster, so perhaps deciding just the single, like his singular defensive capabilities with the hood is enough. It's the rest of his team. Juggernaut can siege high ground just with Blade Fury. We saw that earlier from OG, where No-Tail just slow sieges with Blade Fury. He backs off when it wears off, then goes back in when it's back up, so with the Hood of Defiance, he's just tanky himself, and it's kind of a bit more cost-effective approach to the game.
Mineski transitioning off of that Queen of Pain kill immediately into a push, but it's right as the Bristleback completed pipe comes out. Exorcism pop nice and early, but that blinding light does not matter against these ghosts that just pound into the tower. It's almost down. Glyph forced out. This time, no split push from Alliance. They'll be fighting this one head on, and we do see Bulldog wrapping around for the flank. Any second now, the Beastmaster could get the jump, but do Mineski realize they throw out the shards? They knew he was there. They did a vision behind them, and they snowball. Yeah. Kill that pig!
The important thing for Mineski is not to get caught on the retreat. With Exorcism wearing off.
Speaking of which, there is a Manta up here on Ben-Hur, so he's absolutely fine against this Orchid, and they continue to chase Bulldog. A bit lucky there, or unlucky with the shards rather, for Jules. And to the north side, the Queen of Pain ult comes through, but Raging Potato relatively healthy. Ben-Hur on the run, the Ghost chasing him back. Very discombobulated for Mineski. They are going to lose the Potato potentially here. Throws out the Jules, but Jules will fall. It could be him next as the stolen Exorcism goes to work. EGM completely wrecking Mineski. 3 hitting the deck. And off to the mid lane, it's going to be up to the old Baccarino to split push these lanes back out.
Bulldog positioning that fight is so good. Even with himself getting spotted by an Observer Ward, he prevents the Mineski retreat. The problem is once you've committed the Exorcism, Alliance are trying to initiate on you as the Exorcism is wearing off. So by the time that team fight breaks out, Mineski are fighting without their most important spell. The majority of their damage output coming out of that Exorcism, and Alliance, they can force the fight. They have Bulldog preventing the retreat, they have the frontliner, the Queen of Pain, and the Bristleback running in to catch heroes as well, and Mineski are kind of just overcommitted at that point.
Just wasn't really the best approach to the fight for Mineski, where Alliance just caught them out, and stealing Exorcism there guaranteed at least 2 additional kills. So great play by EGM. Perhaps Mineski needed to back a bit sooner.
Well, for that, we'll see perhaps Mineski slow down the pace of this game and look to at least get themselves an Aegis first. I think they're going to recognize from that fight, if they want to commit to a push, they're going to have to fully commit. Like, you can't just poke at the high ground, expect to get a tier 3 tower and then be able to back off. Bulldog is going to be in position to prevent that. With a Blink Dagger and Necrobook, he can be very pesky. And
well, you mentioned catch. They get a little more here now, as well as just more defensive capabilities. Tusk now grabbing the Blink Dagger. So Jules, despite the death and then the buyback into a dieback, he has managed to complete a core item here on the Tusk that may give them the jump they've been looking for.
Yeah, on top of that, the Nature's Prophet from Boccarino is going to be building into a Scythe of Vice. So recognizing their lineup's big gap is the lack of pick-off. They're going to build those 2 items to try and resolve things.
Game settling down now, a very even clash thus far. Only a 3,000 gold and 2,000 experience advantage for Mineski. It's felt like the tempo has been almost entirely theirs for most of the game, but here comes Alliance, rumbling down towards the big rock in the pit. They want this Roshan. All cooldowns online for Mineski.
Oh, they've seen it though with the scan.
And they're working on it. The scan did come out, and they frantically scramble towards the pit. The Nature's Prophet has the teleport into the pit, ready to go. The entire Mineski squad are just bulldozing in already. Raging Potato, he's popped the ultimate, but he gets pushed onto the high ground by Ake. Not completely caught out, but is isolated from the fight, and they manage to get the Aegis here. S4 and Loda now feeling very confident to move in. There's the roll forward on the Bulldog. Raging Potato still working, but it's on to Loda. He's very tanky. Not an easy here to bring down another Spirit Siphon. He shrugs it off. This Crimson Guard doing work as Bacarino will end up going down. The Nature's Prophet hits the deck, and Mineski, they do see some stragglers here, but they're very tanky ones, Gods. Can they really kill off Loda? This Bristleback is not an easy grab. They're going to try. They silence S4. They roll onto him. They turn for the Queen of Pain. She's caught out. One more swipe. There's the Aegis down, but EGM sitting on the backside of this fight, just looking for spell steals, looking for a way to salvage it. S4 blinking back, and Mineski chasing forward. The Sprout ends up sending them in. EGM keeping them out of the fight, and Loda desperately juking through the trees, getting nuked down bit by bit. They finally, almost, not quite. They want to slay that beast, but he's still alive in the trees. These quills are too much. Kill that armadillo, Mineski. There they go. Finally bringing him down, but it comes at cost. They've spent so long on the Bristle that Alliance get to clean up a few on the back lines. It ends up being 4 Mineski heroes dead. When the dust settles and Alliance, they race forward bottom.
A dieback from Nature's Prophet on top of that. That is an incredible teamfight execution from Alliance, taking the chance to get into the Roshan pit, securing themselves Aegis, and that lift slowing down the the Death Prophet's march towards the pit was just so important from EGM. And suddenly Alliance are pushing forward 30+ seconds without Death Prophet and the Nature's Prophet. This is looking like a potentially hard to defend push coming out of Alliance.
If nothing else, all the lanes will be shoved in. Alliance will be able to get some deep wards down, potentially go for that tier 2 top, but screw that, they say. We see an opening here. About 20-30 seconds before the exorcism's even up, and they jump on S4, but he pops the BKB. He silences Ben-Hur, lifting him up. Roar is there, but there's the swap from Cass to try and save him. S4 hunting deep. Can he get the kill? Ben-Hur's angry. He wants some vengeance. Can't find it, though. They've already lost the Venge. Just respawn back to the grave. They repel the push, but it's another free kill for Alliance as the Nature's Prophet ult splashes through. Alliance still healthy through this. They're resetting. They may end the push here, but it's just a small additional increment for them as we see top lane creeps for Mineski, giving them a little bit of damage on the range racks, but that is not something that's going to win them this game on its own.
Yeah. In that last fight, one of the biggest problems for Mineski was also they just focused too much onto S4 who had Aegis. They could have, yeah, you don't want to focus the Bristleback, but he didn't have Aegis. The S4 Queen of Pain did, so they take out the Aegis, but then Loda manages to run circles around them while that's going on, so see how things transition out of this one. Mineski need to slow things down a bit. No longer are they the ones really controlling this game. Up until this point, before that Aegis, Mineski tempo was all theirs. They were the ones dictating play. Alliance were continually reacting to them, but finally Alliance get themselves into this game in a big way.
So if you're Mineski, it's quite clear from the itemization. They wanted to take that first lane of racks away from Alliance. You could see it from all the repeated push attempts, the focus on Roshan, the pipe on the Death Prophet. These are all early to mid-game items for Mineski. They wanted to end it early. That's not happening, at least not without a catastrophic failure from Alliance. So, given that, Gods, do they reset? Can they reset and look for late game? Does Alliance just have them beat there?
Late game
What are their
solid.
options?
I mean, Death Prophet's always going to go great late game. Spirit Siphon scales incredibly well. You've got Jug, Nature's Prophet. You've got a 3-core lineup with 2 good scaling supports. You've got save, you've got physical damage, amplification coming from Venge. So by no means is late game a weakness of the Mineski draft. If anything, it supports heroes like Keeper of the Light who maybe fall off a bit the later this game goes. And even Bristleback, not exactly known for his late game prowess. So I think Mineski just need to settle down and breathe more than anything. You've gone even with Alliance for 30 minutes. Perhaps your draft's intent was to win the game by this stage, but by no means does your draft also not go into the late game.
Well, you say there's a plan B. Let's see if Mineski feel that way. They did go for a pretty bold smoke all the way back from their base towards the top side of the map. Crucially, did get a lane ward down there in the top lane where there are exposed racks,
They'd like to
but
just
didn't find a kill.
Yeah, finish some of these core items up. Finding pickoffs just kind of, it's almost that confidence boost. If you smoke up and get a kill on someone like the Beastmaster or Queen of Pain, a core hero, great. You're not going to maybe push off of it, but it's just like that nice little sigh of relief, like, okay, we're still on track, our draft's still working. But following that, finish off your Scythe of Vice, get your Nature's Prophet disable, finish off your Death Prophet soul booster into Bloodstone or whatever it may be, and similarly get the Jug his next item or two. Gets a Blink Dagger up for now, so has that gap closing item for his team.
Yeah, went for the Diffusal Blade. Yet to really see him unload those charges, but now does get the Blink as well. Some more split push, a little more maneuverable in the fights, and potentially some solo kill potential. It's Jules now feeling confident from that lane ward, is creeping up here in the top lane. Haven't really seen him able to make big plays here down the stretch, Gods. He had a great start in the laning stage, setting up the first blood in the double kill mid, but it's been a bit quiet on the Tusk as of late.
Yeah, we'll see what he can get done. He needs to make those big saves on raw targets as this game goes on. Keeping Death Prophet alive is going to become the #1 priority for Mineski when Exorcism is going. You need to make Alliance scared to ever fight into Exorcism.
That and the swap.
Yeah.
And we saw the swap last time, able to save the Jug, but if Alliance weren't diving tier 4s, that might not have been the case.
Alliance has just been really good at kiting around the Exorcism, or at least kind of minimizing their losses. It's like, okay, you'll get a tier 3 tower, but we're trading with your base, and then we're forcing the fight as your Exorcism wears off. Because anytime there's no Exorcism, it feels like Alliance can fully commit and engage into
The amount
squad.
The amount of sustain these teams are building is just ridiculous now, as we're going to see Ake grab the Aghanims on Keeper of the Light. So we've seen Pipes, Crimson Guards, Mechs, Urns, Drums, now the Aghanims for the Keeper of the Light. Pretty much every single item in this game is an early to mid-game item. Like, everyone's just afraid there's going to be that one climactic fight out of nowhere, and if you haven't spent your gold on an item that can help you win the fight now, you're just going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, Mineski are the ones trying to get a Rax by 20 minutes, and Alliance having to itemize to prevent that.
Even Loda going for Sanjin Yasha at the 32-minute mark now.
Oh. He's not going to be... He is the most farmed hero on the Alliance side, and this is very cost-effective for a Bristleback. In terms of mobility, you kind of talked about the limited amount of catch on the Mineski side.
Quiet moments here, but it does feel like the calm before the storm. A lot of vision scouting out Alliance as they confidently move forward in their woods, but Mineski seeing that rotation are going to back away, so now it's Mineski playing the game of keep away. Not wanting to fight head-on into Alliance. They do get a key one here, though. The Sight Device now picked up for the Nature's Prophet. Once he gets a Blink Dagger, he is going to have some incredible pick-off potential.
There's a gem on Ake, but they've managed to bypass some of these. Okay, he'll Quelling Blade it on his way through while smoked. So that's something which Mineski's kind of keeping eyes on the minimap may have noticed.
Could be Jules getting caught out here mid, and see you later, he says. Heads to the bottom row.
They get pulled in towards the mid lane. They see the recall on Loader, so they should know exactly where Alliance are on the map at this point. But
the Death Prophet just TP top. Alliance seeing that.
Mineski
Are they going to go that way, or are they just going to say, hey, Death Prophet won't be able to assist bottom. Let's go for a flank. That seems to be the call. CGM out in front, has the 4-step Oni, no Blink Dagger. Might be Jules who tanks this one, but he's popped the haster and he's very difficult to wrangle. And the rest of Mineski again successfully thwarting the ganks from Alliance. The tables have completely turned, though. They are the ones running away.
Yeah, and they're the ones having to resort to kind of the split push Rat Dota right now. You can see Treants just poking at the tier 3 tower bottom. The top lane's being poked at a lot as well, so resorting to some split push of their own.
You can see Cass there calling the shots for the team, saying push out mid, push out top, do not fight, and make sure that we're not losing in terms of creep equilibrium here as the game progresses.
I mean, worst case scenario is you lose a fight and creep waves are about to reach your base. That's where you're going to lose a fight and then lose a lane of Rax. So if you want to, you know that Roshan is likely to be coming up soon. It gets scouted out importantly by Mineski immediately. That sigil there as it respawns. So Mineski will be well aware that Roche is back up and that it will be something Alliance will be eyeing off.
And that is why you want to push out these lanes, so that you can go fight at the pit and Alliance cannot split push you with the mobility to keep the light brains of the squad, but they may just go straight down mid. They're going to siege this creep wave. They're in striking distance of the tower. There's an exposed set of racks on the top lane as the pings come out at the Roche pit. Bottom lane creeping forward, S4 blinking back. Alliance scrambling the defense, and Mineski, they get cold feet. They're going to back away.
It's Bulldog. What's he going to be doing? He's going to be split pushing it up here at the bottom lane. Just happy to throw the axes and probably get himself back to safety, but he wants to linger around as long as possible to make sure Mineski commit resources to defend this lane.
And they're already on the case. For every action by Alliance, there appears to be an equal and opposite reaction for Mineski, at least thus far. You push bottom, we push it out. You go defend top, we shove it back in.
Yeah, it's Mineski now the ones reacting, though, as you kind of just highlight there. And this has really just been the last 5 or 6 minutes where that's been the case. And I think Mineski want to probably pick up a gem themselves, take out the Alliance vision, have a way to take out the Hawks as well, which are continually scouting them out.
A dead even heat, though, when it comes to net worth. With a game this even as far as the slow moments of the game go, it feels like that one fight is likely going to decide the outcome.
Well, that one fight could be coming, LD.
It's EGM way out in front. And bang! cracking away.
And Mineski know they're not in Roche. They have the Treant there, and that's
It's
a
gonna
big problem
disappear
for
soon
Alliance,
though,
yeah.
and they may be forced to move in. Alliance, they poke
No
Roche a
smokes
few
available.
times.
They'll be walking right past the Dire Vision.
They're running up the hill. They're scouted by that Dire Ward. They're streaming towards the pit. Alliance setting up the ambush. It's going to be a good Keeper of the Light nuke to start, and they caught out the Raging Potato. They have to save this Death Prophet. They snowball her forward into the middle of the entire Alliance squad.
Another
Juggernaut to the
stolen
rescue.
exorcism.
The Exorcism going back the other way. EGM, though, fairly squishy. Has to be careful not to go down. Mineski lurching in, eager for combat as S4 looks for the flank. He is going to get eyes here on Bacarino. The silence coming out, trying to burst down the NP. They do kill up EGM, stolen Exorcism gone, and Loda could be next. Not quite finished off, though. Just so damn tanky, but they slow him down again. There's the perk from the Jug. Mineski have made it too. Buyback available on that Bristle if they want to pop it. Bulldog in the trees. Make it 3 for Mineski, and the Roche almost certainly theirs unless Alliance blow a hell of a lot of buybacks, and they've only got 2 right now.
Just great, fast, ballsy movement from Mineski. They did not mess around. They took a beeline towards that Roche pit as soon as Alliance showed themselves there. And kind of like you highlighted, even with the stolen Exorcism, I love EGM's play. He hides in the trees. He's waiting for that Death Prophet to use it, and the vision meant that he was going to get a guaranteed Exorcism still. But problem is, EGM very squishy, and the team fight around Alliance are very dependent on bursting down here at the start of the fight. With the Roar into Sonic Wave, they've got to kill off someone like either the Jug or the Death Prophet, or they can't win the fight. And Mineski just held their own and managed to take Roshan and set themselves up to perhaps go for another push once another Exorcism comes back up, and that's happening in 20 seconds time.
That Octarine kicking in now. Mineski will have the full arsenal, aside from possibly the Omni Slash, ready to go, and the siege commences. It's Jug out in front, 30 seconds on his ultimate. Raging Potato close behind. How do Alliance counter this? They're not split pushing. They've come home to defend. There's the Glyph, a fresh Sprout. Waiting for that next round of Treants. It's slow and steady for Mineski, but they do have the Blink Abyssal on the Jug, so at any moment he could go for an assassination here, and Exorcism is now committed. They rush forward onto Loda. There's the punch, spinning on him, laid into him with the Ghost. They want to kill Loda, and by golly, they will, but the Nature's Prophet is the cost. So far, 1 for 1, and they've got the power play now as Loda buys back. Mineski looks like they may need to retreat. They've also lost their Aegis. Raging Potato steady his ground, but a beautiful blinding light by Aki pushes him away from the team. Ben-Hur's back in. Potato wants to be as well. If they can kill Loda, that's a dieback. But there comes S4 unwinding with the Sonic Wave. Will slay another Death Prophet down for 70. Alliance holding and returning fire. There's the Shivas. The goo comes out, and down goes the third. Mineski have overplayed their hand. Alliance hold the high ground. It seems pushing is very hard this game.
Oh man, Loda is just kind of, in some ways, the hero of that defense. He just runs in knowing, he throws away his life to defend the higher ground. That is exactly what the call had to be. Loda, go in and die. You've got buyback money. You're the hero that they're going to have to overcommit to kill. If that's someone like a Beastmaster or a Queen of Pain, you don't have to commit many resources to kill him, but because it's a Bristleback, throwing as much as they do to kill him is just a complete disaster for Mineski, and unfortunately for Death Prophet, couldn't get off the cheese. The Sonic Wave burst damage, I think, catches Bimbo by surprise, and suddenly it's Alliance on the high ground, who looking to break back and take a lane of racks for themselves.
Yeah, he animation canceled it a couple of times there, wanted to ensure that it snags a kill, and indeed here it did. As Loda gets caught out, remember, that's a dieback if he goes down. It's very important they keep the Bristleback alive, but fortunately, Loda is insanely tanky as he continues to deal with all of the nukes and attacks being thrown his way, and now the Roar comes out onto Bacarino. Great swap back by Cash to save the day. Jules up in the air, Ben-Hur on the run. Alliance so far routing Mineski. They bring down 2. Mineski could be on their last legs here as Bulldog with the refresher finds the Roar, but it's Raging Potato to the rescue. He'll at least stop the bleeding for now, but they have lost that first and potentially decisive lane of racks. Mineski not out of it yet. They will get the Bulldog kill, down for 70. And it seems the game of ping pong will continue as this time Mineski charged down mid.
Bulldog committed to a refresher, so he actually doesn't have buyback for a potential Mineski push.
But they won't have the exorcism by the time they get there.
No exorcism, and they're also just not flat out aware of the buyback status of the Beastmaster. Maybe they can kind of piece it together based on the refresher purchase, but more likely Mineski will just slow things down. You've lost one lane of Rax at 40 minutes in. That's by no means catastrophic, and it's very much a possibility to kind of turn things around against that. So they ideally don't want to push and risk losing Ben here, who doesn't have buyback on the Jug, and then you kind of lose the game off of that. So we'll see what Mineski's ideal approach is going to be, but for me, the best plan is to try and find those pickoffs, not try and brute force your way through Alliance. That's been their undoing this game. It's just trying to break through the high ground by just sheer numbers. And then the problem is Alliance, they just always have this long-range AoE damage, and they've used their buybacks so well. That's, to me, been the biggest difference maker this game, is just the use of buybacks. Alliance, anytime they're buying back, it's to win a fight. Mineski, it's to try and salvage a fight.
The one tool I feel we haven't seen enough out of from Mineski is the swap into Hex to start fights and to find those pickoffs, something that a lot of other teams have used in the past. But as I say that, they're smoked. They're creeping in. They are pushing straight down the middle lane. They're going to beat their head against that brick wall that Alliance has put up thus far. And this is where, looking at buybacks, there are 4 on the field. 3 for Alliance, only 1 for Mineski. They're not that far off on the Venge, but other than that, nobody's really close.
They do know Loda can't do what he did last time, which was just be that frontline tank to force out, well, to use his buyback to force Mineski's engagement. But at the same time, heroes like Queen of Pain could potentially do that. Beastmaster, if he gets to the goal, can do that.
Again deployed. And the siege round billion commences. They swap to start this one off. Cat does catch out Loda. This could be the dieback. Alliance need him. He runs. The snowball's in deep, perhaps a bit too far. Bakarina's gonna pay. Jules has dragged him into trouble, but S4 is getting beaten down by Ben-Hur. Raging Potato in very deep. Remember, he's got buyback, but he really doesn't want to have to use it. The exorcism goes. Again, they lay into Loda. Man, he's taggy, but snowball number 2, not enough. It actually falls a bit short. The shards trapped him in, but these 4 steps from Alliance, keeping them in the fight, keeping them in the game. Mineski have pretty much unloaded their entire arsenal, and they have to run again. Bench down, Tusk as well, dead for a minute. Will Mineski lose more? Dropping the silence here, Raging Potato, he tries for the TP out. Is there anything else to cancel this? No, siree.
Nice.
Does the math, realizes there's no roars, and it's only a lift that can stop it. Silences EGM and gets away, so great poise there under pressure by Raging Potato. Still though, gods, they try to go high ground again, and again, they just can't do it.
And EGM has a stolen swap. The double 4-star from Ake and EGM also saving Loda's life there. Not just the first time when he got swapped Hex in, but also the second time when he got sprouted up. Loda would look to be in a lot of trouble, but these 4-stars from Alliance just winning them that fight and putting Mineski once again onto the back foot, and Mineski just starting to lack damage. The Bristleback's so damn tanky.
And they could kill him if they could lock him down, but he gets swapped out, he gets 4-step back, he gets healed up by the Keeper of the Light. They just don't get to focus him in these fights. And so Alliance will renew their push on the waves. The top lane shoved in, they'll go address bottom as S4 rotates there together with EGM. And it looks like we might be waiting for our next Roshan. As the game goes later, I know earlier, Gods, you said you thought Mineski scaled very well into late game. We've got an incredibly underfarmed Vengeful Spirit here. Clearly EGM able to do more thus far. Do you see Mineski falling off? Do you see them being able to take Alliance to that 50, 60, 70-minute mark if it goes there? Traditionally, that is Alliance's home turf. They love to play the late game.
And Mineski's a team who sometimes maybe fall apart in the ultra late game with a bad decision. We saw them in a few long games. They lost one game against MVP with mega creep. So thoughts like that are going to be creeping in their mind. And one of the biggest, perhaps, downfalls of their lineup in the late game is they're not getting... yeah, you've got the utility from your supports to save people, but they haven't actually got farm. The Alliance supports, you've got 4-star. Aghanim Scepter on Ake's Keeper of the Light. He's actually like as farmed as some of these core heroes almost, so...
Their support duo is almost double the net worth of the Mineski support duo.
Yes. I mean, Ake has more farm than both Mineski supports combined.
It's pretty bad. But Mineski are not to be defeated just yet.
They're going all in.
They march down mid again.
Committed to Shiva's Guard on Death Prophet. No buyback on Raging Potato. They really want to take this fight.
This will be a head-on clash. Alliance lanes are not that close where they can just go for the split push unless this turns into an incredibly long siege. The Sigil flies high above the Mineski forces, and in comes Death Prophet once more under the breach. Will the third time Maybe the 5th time be the charm. They started off with a swap. Force staff and blinding light it all over the place, but will be able to re-engage here. Still at full HP. Loda, though, really hurting. Even with the Spirit Siphoning, Raging Potato struggling to bring him down. On the south side of the fight, though, they have isolated S4. They're going to Omni Abyssal him into submission, but now Raging Potato drops. No buyback. The all-in is backfired. Alliance hold, and now they push out. Bulldog on the chase. He's got the Hawk flying high, hunting the Nature's Prophet through the trees. Goes for the Self-Sprout. Are they ready for this? They got the lift. They get the kill. Alliance have brought down 3, none of them with buyback, and they may just march down mid.
That was effectively a 5v10. All 5 Alliance heroes had buyback. Mineski, 0 buybacks. They were fully committed to that one. They buy the Shiver's Guard on Death Prophet. They bought out on their entire team to go for that push, and meanwhile Alliance is sitting back like, okay, this push is coming. Okay, do we need to send someone in who can buy back? Well, everyone's like, okay, I got buyback, you got buyback, sweet, we got 5 buybacks. Let's just, well, we can just straight up win this fight, like, no problem.
And on top of those buybacks, they now have new items here. The Queen of Pain Lincoln Sphere coming out. Assault Cuirass completed for the Bristleback. Pretty late by Bristle standards, but considering the other items he's gone for, Loda is going to be a beast in these fights. And Alliance, imbued with those buybacks, rotate to the bottom lane. They work on the Sigil. That will drop first. But now the real structural damage can begin. Still 40 seconds without the Nature's Prophet. Death Prophet 10 seconds away. And even when she's back, she won't have the Exorcism for a couple more, but there's the Yule on the Jules. He's down. Alliance in the lower bracket fighting not only for their Manila major lives, but perhaps their TI invite ones as well, are staying the course. They get the Spirit Siphon off on Loda. They continue to press forward. Raging Potato just surging into the entire enemy team here, but EGM sitting far back and threatening to go in. And now with the Exorcism having been committed, gods, Alliance can wait this one out. And even if all 5 heroes are alive, Death Prophet's not really going to be much of one without her ultimate, so they may just go back in when it's been used up.
Yeah, the only big threat at that point becomes the Jug. For now, it looks like EGM TPing bottom, signaling the Alliance retreat, perhaps. Also just signaling...
Looks like he may want to shove out this lane.
Yeah, you're worried about the Nature's Prophet TPing in to kind of split push and backdoor some of these racks.
Not
mid and top exposed.
Not a tactic we've seen Mineski go for this game, but definitely something that's possible. Alliance certainly has shown they can do it on the MP. They sprout out Loda to start. They're going to continue to try and bring down this Bruiser in the front line, but it's too late for the melee racks. That as well has fallen. 2 melee racks down, arranged in the mid, and possibly another soon to drop in the mid lane. Or the bottom lane, rather. They move forward, purging Loda, hacking away, but it's very slow work, and Loda does it much quicker. One swing of that mace, dropping the Jug rapidly. They'll reset. The wave has joined them. They continue to just pummel the entire enemy squad and their band of heroes with the Keeper of the Light Nukes, healing themselves up, dropping Mineski down in these long, prolonged, sustained engagements. Alliance, they just seem to outlast them thus far.
They've got Healing Ward. EGM just keeps stealing these big spells. He's had swap for like 5 minutes. Now he's got a Healing Ward up his sleeve. This is just getting too much for Mineski to deal with.
They just can't deal with Loda. He's got 4 supports right now, it feels like. Everyone stands behind him. The Beast will see you through. And now he finds Jules a bit out of position. There's the Hex to start the spin for what little it'll do. Will follow onto Loda, and Raging Potato's in deep. Force that back to try to protect him. Glimmer as well, but he's basically on an island here. He needs some help from the squad. Alliance. Oh. A pause in the middle of the chaos as a PC crashes.
I don't think Mineski actually want to be chasing here, so perhaps it's like okay for them just to be like, okay, let's breathe, let's kind of regroup.
Yeah, the problem is they just committed Exorcism
and
again.
Bulldog has another Raw available. Raging Potato is really getting hurt. Every fight the Mana Leak on him prevents his chases from happening. And that's kind of annoying because he can't even use his Yule Scepter. Often in a position like where you're getting focused down by 4 or 5 heroes, you just want to use that defensive Yules, throw yourself up in the air. While that's happening, you're life-stealing with Spirit Siphon, you're dealing out damage with Exorcism, but I haven't seen him be able to get off a Yules in like a single team fight because he's always out of mana, and that's with a 2.5k mana pool. This Keeper of the Light Mana Leak is doing wonders in these fights.
That and the Necro Bulk, it really does stack up. And he's always out in front, so it's not hard to cast the spells on him.
Well, Mineski may just have to back off, and something you kind of mentioned, if that Exorcism goes down, that's kind of just signals Alliance to charge forward, go for that push.
I mean, the last time it went down, just moments ago, they lost to melee racks. It goes down again. Alliance probably take the range for free. And at that point, gods, we already thought Mineski were all in. They're going to be extremely all in for the upcoming fights.
It's really do or die. Jug cannot afford to die. He's actually 9 gold short of buyback, so likely he'll tick over that any second now and actually have a buyback for this fight, which is going to be very important for them. But Nature's Prophet a little bit short, and
I mean, you mentioned that they lack damage. At this point, is it too late? Like, where do you see the damage coming from here?
a second Death Prophet ultimate, get a refresher in the mix, but how are you going to have the mana for that? So I don't really see a realistic scenario where Death Prophet can get a second ulti off like in the middle of an Alliance squad, but here we go. Things get back underway. We'll hop back into the game.
Oh, a moment to breathe for Mineski, but they've got to be very halting, tentative breaths.
Bok is already TP top. He's going to shove things here. Looks like the rain tracks unless a glyph comes out, but the beauty of this Keeper of the Light means you can TP someone back as they did earlier with the Rubik and then instantly get recalled in. So you've got great tools to deal with the split push, and while the rain tracks won't actually die, nor is it something really worth committing to for Mineski. That's not going to change the state of this game. Just give them a bit of a gold boost more than anything.
Even a single melee is not enough to change the state of the game entirely, as Alliance already have 2 down. And so far, they have had the buyback advantage down the stretch. Worth mentioning, Bulldog continues to be the highest hero in terms of net worth this game. As a Beastmaster at 50 minutes into the game, this has been a vintage Bulldog performance on one of his slightly less common heroes. Definitely, I think, one of his most comfortable, but obviously not as iconic as the NP or the Lone Druid, or even the Broodmother. But he's coming through here. And now that Alliance have grabbed the most recent Aegis, they push again. It seems Mineski have decided they want to try for the split push. They're going to grab a Desolator on the NP. And the line is being drawn top here. A clear indication Mineski want to split push, but they're already down 1.5 lanes of racks. Can they really do it?
It's split push. It's also just some cost-effective damage, but I mean, how much difference does a Desolator make? It's a bit of minus armor, a bit of physical damage, but that's, at the end of the day, what they need, as much physical damage as possible.
Well, Loda, they couldn't kill him once in the last fight, and now they've got to deal with S4 having 2. Wall sitting in the back lines. He will get sprouted out for the time being. The Spirit Siphon doing a lot of work. EGM just sitting back, waiting for good spells to steal, and suddenly Loda's back up to full HP as the heals from the Keeper of the Light continue to rain in. They punch S4 up in the air, but that's a hero they got to bring down not once but 2 times. They lose Jules. There's the Queen of Paydol, and they rush forward onto the Potato. Alliance get the raid tracks. They might get more. Bimbo can't afford to die here, but die he will. Out for 80. He has a buyback, but he doesn't have an exorcism, and this time Alliance might just skip and go straight for the throne. They had the stolen exorcism once more. EGM lets it loose.
Oh my
Churning
God,
through Mineski buildings. Banging on the front door. Nobody's home for Mineski. They just can't withstand the onslaught. Loda just stands and fights, and Mineski can't take the punishment. Heroes are falling. Buildings are crumbling. The end times are here for the Filipino squad. Down goes the melee. The ranged is all that remains, and a frantic rat game begins. But Alliance know how to deal with that. The Nature's Prophet heads to the top side, but it's far too late, it feels. Alliance are just going to stick around mid. They can't even easily get a full lane of Rex top. Will Ben-Hur be able to turn the tides? He does get the stun off on S4, but S4 jumping away, and now they have managed to catch out the MP. Oh, actually gets the Bulldog kill. A pretty big one, but it's Megas Gods. It's all in time for Mineski here.
Yeah, I mean, Megas says it all. You get a Rax or 2, it's not going to make that much of a difference. Bok is perhaps going to look for the EGM kill, but it's too late. He's committed, and Bulldog buying back.
And they're lurking on Aki. They do bring him down as well. That's 2 down, but another buyback is ready, and they haven't even chosen to spend it yet. Mineski just not getting structures off of these back and forth engagements. The kills are nice, but it's the buildings that win you the game, and so far Alliance have had the upper hand. This time though, Loda may actually drop 2. That's going to be 3 heroes down, including the Bulldog death, but also having buyback is Loda. Alliance just making the right calls and being very patient in a clutch situation. Now they're going to rotate S4 bottom. He might even be able to kill off Bacarino if he's not careful. This Nature's Prophet does not have buyback. S4 creeping in. This could be the go for the jugular maneuver, and S4 slits his throat, and it's straight onto the towers now. Tier 4 dropping. Mineski, this could be checkmate.
Yeah, Bulldog's
S4 drags them back.
Bulldog's like, why do we need to defend? There is an exposed throne almost.
Do Mineski go for the enemy throne here? They're going to pop Exorcism. They're turning for Rax. It's just not happening fast enough for them.
LD.
Somebody has to go home, but sitting back to cancel TPs is EGM. Potato says, screw it. It's all in on the throne. They said help only to toss the stall, but is it really enough? The throw dropping. Quickly it falls, and F4 blinks to the left with one last throw of a dagger. Down goes the throne. And Alliance move on. They survive. Mineski eliminated here at the Manila Major in front of a hometown crowd. A brutal way to go out, but it does set the stage for a Na'Vi versus Alliance showdown in the lower bracket.
I mean, for Mineski, they've got to hold their heads high. They show what they showed during the group stages. They are not a team to be underestimated. They took a game off of